Moving next phase to the key phase, which is research. In this, let us understand what do we mean by research first. Well, the research means the systematic investigation as well as the study of sources or material or thing so that the facts can be established or the conclusion can drawn. So it's actually all about finding the truth about experiment or investigation using the specific methods. So here, often referred to as the discovery phase, the research phase is probably the most variable between projects. Complex projects will compromise significant user and competitor research activities, while small startup websites may skip all research activities other than some informal interviews and surveys are done. In many people's eyes, the research phase is key to creating an informed user experience. However, it is also the phase most often skipped, especially by proponents of a learn UX approach. Now, we'll see how the research has been conducted, in what ways. First, we'll see why do we do research. Benefit of conducting research includes expanding understanding and knowledge of your academic field, gaining academic experience that helps expand your resume such as representing at research conference, publishing, and working with a research team. Let's understand what are the main purpose of research. Research is basically done for two purposes: to understand the world around us or why things or processes work the way they do, and to understand the application of these processes. In other words, either pure research is carried out or applied research is carried out. Now, let us understand how to do research. First is decide what you need to find out about. Then the second, think about what you know already. Third, find and evaluate information. Fourth, what to do with the information you find. So this is what about the research. Like in this, we learned why to do research, purpose of research, how to do research. So this is all about research. Once research is done, once you understand about the research, you need to know what are the key points of research are going to be. Let's learn. The key point of research. First, interview. Then you go ahead to the observation. Then the third is the survey. With the help of these three keys, the entire research can be done. So let's study one by one. Here are the steps for the key point of research. First, the steps are include to do the interview, research the person. It means you should know as much as possible about the person you are interviewing. So you go into the interview feelings, prepared and in control. Second, clarify your objectives. Then third, prepare questions. Fourth, prepare some topic for small talk. Then it's optional if you do so. Check your recording equipment. If you want to record your interviewer, if he or she agrees to that, then you can check your equipment prior to the interviews. Then moving next, observation. For observation, the steps include stop to observe everything around you. Take a few moments every day and just pause. Then pay attention to small details. Often people only notice the large objects that surrounds them. So third, stay in the present moment. With this, you can see a lot of things with your eyes, with your touch, with your feelings, with many things. So that's why stay in the present moment. Then write down everything that you notice on a daily basis. With this, you can keep a note of whatever you see or whatever you observe for further information. Then quantify everything you notice. So this is all about observation. This is the best key of your research. Then the third goes the survey. The steps include for surveys are which are the 5 steps. The 5 steps included which are identify the audience. The research done before conducting a survey is the research done before conducting a survey is critical to the survey's success. Second is find a survey provider. The third, conduct the survey. The fourth, create context for the survey. Fifth, evaluate your research. So these are the 5 points for your survey. Here you had learned all about the key points of the survey and key point of your research and the entire steps of interview, observation and the surveys. So next let us see the next key phase of UX process, which is analysis. In this we see what exactly analysis means. The aim of the analyze phase is to draw insight from data collected during the research phase. After once research is done, the information whatever you get through the research, we collect that data and then we analyze it. To analyze, definitely a person need a research data through the 3 key phases, which are like interview, observation or the survey method. Now once you got the data collection, then capturing, organizing and making interface from the what can help UX design being to understand the why. With the help of what and why, we can organize the data. Communicating the designer's understanding back to end user helps to confirm that an assumption being made are valid. Here, the definition says analyze is the process of breaking down something into its part to learn what they do and how they relate to one another. Examining blood is a lab to discover all of its components is an example of analyze. Let's see how analyze can be done with the help of these questions. To understand more, what is analyze and examples? The same. The analyze is the purpose of breaking down something into the parts to learn what they do and how they relate to one another. Then it goes, why do we analyze? The use of analyze, people analyze things to determine the similarity and difference, to clarify them, and to synthesize them. They analyze their initial response to a text to find these for a critic, critic or a topic for further research. The next is, what is the purpose of analyze? A systematic examination and evaluation of data or information by breaking into its component part to uncover their interrelationships, opposite of synthesis. 2. An examination of data and facts to uncover and understand cause, effects, relationship, thus provides basic for problem solving and decision making. What's next? We understand the purpose of requirement analysis. It is the process of defining the expectation of the user for an application that is to be built or modified. Equipment analyzes into all the tasks that are conducted to identify the needs of different stakeholders. Let's understand why requirement analysis is important. It is important aspect of project management. Energy should be directed towards ensuring that the final system of product conform to client needs rather than attempting to mold user expectation to fit the requirements. Next, let's understand why correctly identify requirement is important. The requirement contains the behavior, attitude, and properties of the further system. Therefore, the main task of the requirement is to ensure that they are understood by all stakeholders. The work with the requirements involves various processes, example, identification, analyze, verification, and finally management. Now, let's understand how do you define requirement, how to define requirements. The Babok guides official defines or official definitions of requirement is 1. A condition of capability needs by a stakeholder to solve a problem or achieve an object. In simpler words, a decision-making process to derive requirements from need. The next, how to perform a requirement analysis. There are many steps. 1 is identify customer needs. 2. Evaluate system for feasibility. Perform economic and technical analysis. Allocate functions to system elements. Establish schedule and constraints. Create system definition. So let's understand the key points of analyze. 1 is persona, 2 a scenario, 3 synthesis. Now let us understand what is persona. Before going to the design, first understand what is persona. Personas are fiction, representation and generalization of a cluster of your target user who exhibit similar attitude, goal and behaviors in relation to your product. They are human-like snapshot of relevant and meaningful communities in your customer group and are based on user research. How to create persona? With the help of research, segment your audience, set demographic information, describe persona background, define person goal, motivation and pain points, and other integration. So with the help of this, you can create your own personas. Next, we'll understand what is scenarios. What user scenario means. A user scenario is the fiction story of a user accomplish an action or a goal via a product. It focuses on a user's motivations, and documents the process by which the user might use a design. It is therefore common for user scenarios to be based on user personas. What is, okay, last point, what is synthesis in design? Design synthesis is the process of taking the functional architecture developed in the functional analysis and allocation step and decomposing those functions into a physical architecture that satisfies system requirement functions. Moving next, a design. A next phase of UX process is design. Now, what is design? The design phase of a UX project is collaboratively and interactively, which is like involving inputs and ideas from different people, meaning that it cycles back upon itself to validate ideas and assumptions, where building on the user feedback loop established in previous phase. The purposes of the design phase is to put ideas in front of user, get their feedback, refine them, and repeat. These ideas may be represented by paper prototype, interactivity, wireframe, or semi-functioning prototype, all deliberated created in low fidelity to delay and conversions relating to graphic identify, branding, or visual details. Now let's understand what is design with example. Design is a work process which has a under preservative and derived deployment based on your specific customer's needs. The design process varies between different project and design fields. Most designers have their own description of the design process, but mostly this resembles each other. Now let's understand what are different type of design. Design mainly has three types: product, interface, and visual. Next, let's understand the principle of art and design. One is balance, construct, emphasis, movement, pattern, rhythm, unity, and varieties. Now let's understand the needs and the importance. With a clear and design process in place, you can show your client exactly where their money is going during the design phase of their project. All aspects of a product design need consideration, and a good design process accounts for everything. A good design is so much more than creating a good looking product. It is about creating a positive experience for user at every touch point and with every interaction. Design influences what we think, the way we feel, and the way decision we make. And when it is expectationally well done, a good design is virtually visible. Then let's understand the purpose of the design process. When you want to create something, or if you want to solve a problem, or if you have been assigned a task but the steps towards the results are not clear yet, the purpose of a design process is to shape or guide your work and thoughts to improve the outcome. So this was the exactly whole thing about the design. Let's understand the key point of design, which is workflow, second is wireframe, and third is prototype. What is workflow? The highest of improving a process is the workflow design. Workflow design happens when you map out the sequential tasks involved to take an item from initiate to proceed. In the process of workflow design, you get a chance to see the entire process and how data moves seamlessly from step to step. Now let's understand what is wireframe. A wireframe is a visual representation of a user interface stripped out any visual design or branding element. It is used by UX designer to define the hierarchy of items on a screen and communicate what the item on the page should be based on user need. At last, let's understand what is prototype. The most common type of is high fidelity prototype is a digital prototype that is developed using prototyping software that lets UX designer create rich interactivity and even animated products prototype of a user interface that is almost ready for implementation. Moving next, the production is the phase of UX design. In this, we'll learn the production phases where the high fidelity design is fleshed out, content and digital assets are created. High fidelity version of the product is validated stakeholders and end users through user testing section, where the role of UX designer shifts from creating and validating ideas, collaborating with developers to guide and champion the vision. So let us understand the key points of production. 1 is visual design, 2 development, 3 are technical testing. Let's understand what is visual design. Visual design is about creating and making the general aesthetic of a product consistent. To create the aesthetic style of a website or app, we work with fundaments, elements, or visual design, arranging them according to principle of design. Next, development. Let's understand what is development. It is the It is the development of websites, web application, mobile application, and software development. Most people assume UI development is about creating website and writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, but interface goes far beyond these technical terms. Let's understand what is development. Let's understand the next technique, which is testing. What is testing? User experience testing is the process of testing different aspects of user experience to determine the best way for a website and its elements to interact with its audience. Many stores use digital tools to measure UX testing in store. Next, Even a GUI testing is defined as the process of testing the system's graphical user interface of the application. And the test GUI testing involves checking the screens with the controls like menus, button, icons, and all type of bar, toolbar, menu bar, dialog box, and windows, etc. So these are used for testing techniques. Going next, we'll see we'll learn here what 5W1H concept means. It is knowledge to define, sorry, knowledge to design an excellent user experience. Where to design a good user experience, we first need to understand the users and their needs. But what exactly do you need to know? It comes down to 5W and 1H questions. Now let's see what is 5W1H mean. So here you go. 5W stands for what, who, when, where, why, and the 1H stands for is how. So with the help of 5W1H concept, you can create many things. Let us understand what this what, when, how, where, why, and how means in the UX design. Now let us start with who. To make the questions, we use the who word like who are the users? What are their characters? What knowledge and experience do they bring to their task? Are they different user groups? If so, what distinguishes them from each other and which user groups are most important? The next W comes up what. With the what, we make a phase of question like what do the user do? What are the tasks they need to accomplish? You need to understand the task as a whole as well as the task that pertains to the product or system that you are designing. And next comes where. Where are these people when they perform the task? Which physical characters of the environment affects how they perform the task? Lighting, conduction, temperature, noise, interruption, privacy, space, interaction with other people, physical movement and other conditions of the location could influence how they perform tasks. Then the next comes when. This, when do they perform the task? As there is a hurry or can they take their time? How often do they perform the task? If it's something they do every day, they can learn and remember how the system works. If it's something they only do a few times a year, it's unlikely that you can rely on them to learn and remember how to use the system. The last W comes with why. Why do they perform the task? What are they really trying to accomplish? People perform tasks because they want to achieve higher level of goals. For example, people use personal finance software to update their records of their bank and credit card accounts and to pay bills. Those are their specific lower level tasks, but their higher level goals are to be feel more control over their finance, to better understand and control their spending, and to save money. Supporting users' task is merely to minimize. Helping them better achieve their true goal is what leads to an excellent user experience. Then the last about 1H, which is how. How do they perform those tasks? While what asks about the task people perform, how asks for the details of how they perform those tasks. For example, paying a credit card bill is what someone does. How they pay it, get into the details, individual steps involved in the task. How do you get the answer to these questions? Yeah, you could simply ask people this question, but it's difficult for people to provide accurate answer by simply talking about what they do outside of the context of performing those tasks. Instead, the best way to learn this information is to go out of observation. 1. The people who will be using your product, check with them, then observe what they currently do and how they do it, then in the location where they do it, and next the time when they do it. With the help of this observation, you'll get all your answers. The sixth W, what if, once you have answered the 5 W's and 1H, you have enough information to begin asking what if. What if begins the design process by trying out ideas and possible solutions to help user best achieving their goals. Now let's see how the 5W1H, with the help of this concept, how the questions can be created. In general, who is involved, who is affected, who will benefit, who will be harmed, what does your topic involve, that is, what are the different parts to it, what is it similar to or what's different from, what might be affected, changed by your app, content or topic, when does this task takes place, when did this takes place, when will it take place, when should this take place, why is this topic important, why does it matter, why do certain things happen, what are some causes and effects with the app or content or topic, how does this application, content, topic work, how does it function, how does it do what it does, how did it come to be, how are those involved affected, what if everything worked as it should, what if everything did not work as it should, next, what if this app content topics did not exist. So here, with the help of these questions, you can gather or you can ask to the customer for this answer, for the seeking of this answer. Once you get this answer, you can easily collect the data, you can research, you can observe. Then with this, you can create your entire process, you'll get the information. So hope you have cleared all the doubts over here. Next, let's summarize. User, till now we have learned in our topic user experience design, UX process, key phase in UX process, key points of research, 5W1H concept in UX, and at last we learn a general questions how can be asked with the help of 5W1H.